Sure. Thanks, Gary. So Quebec's had French language laws for a long time, initially with Bill 101, and with most of those French language requirements being primarily set out in what we call the Charter of the French Language. However, the current government decided to do an overhaul of the legislation through what's commonly referred to as Bill 96, which came into effect on June 1st, 2022, and we've had a few webinars about already. Certain of the amendments came into effect immediately, while others came into force 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years later. So we're approaching the 3-year mark for those obligations that come into effect this year. The legislation aimed to further promote the French language and reiterate the formal recognition of French as the official language of Quebec. And Bill 96 created over 200 amendments to the Charter and to other pieces of legislation. Evidently, after the amendments came into effect, as is normal, there were naturally many questions around the meaning of certain changes, and many provisions required clarification. So on January 10th of last year now, the government of Quebec published the draft regulation to amend mainly the regulation respecting the language of commerce and business, which was a regulation that already existed under the Charter, but needed some modifications to come and clarify the changes that were made to the Charter through Bill 96. That piece of legislation went through some consultation, and after that was further amended, and its final version has now come into effect. So there is now a modified regulation respecting the language of commerce and business, which is in force since June 26th of last year. The changes in that regulation primarily focus on things like inscriptions on products and documents related to those products, public signs and posters, commercial advertising, and most significantly, what we commonly refer to as the exception trademark. It also clarified certain questions around contracts of adhesion.